Craig and Christy have been at Grandma and Papa's house for 3 or 4 days now. And Grandma's going to read a book called Joseph and the Famine. Turn. When Joseph was a boy, he had been sold by his brothers to merchants, who took him down to Egypt as a slave. He grew into a wise and clever man, and Pharaoh the king made him governor of all Egypt. There came many years of bad harvests, and there was famine in Egypt and the nearby countries. What's a famine?
A bad spirit.
No, it's no food.
It's
No food. Clever Joseph had saved enough grain from the good harvests of the year before to make sure that no one in Egypt had to go hungry. Many people from far away came to Egypt to buy corn for their starving families and animals. Turn.
There's a little boy on that page.
In Canaan, Jacob, the father of Joseph, said to his sons, "You'll have to go to Egypt and buy some corn so that we may stay alive." 10 of Jacob's sons were to go down to Egypt, but he would not let his youngest son, Benjamin, go with the others. He had always loved his youngest sons, Joseph and Benjamin, best. He believed that Joseph was dead, and he did not want to risk losing Benjamin, too. Turn. When the 10 brothers reached Egypt, they were brought before Joseph, see him up there, who was the keeper of Pharaoh's storehouses. Joseph knew his brothers as soon as he saw them, but they did not recognize him. So that they could not guess who he was, he spoke roughly to them and said, "You haven't really come to buy corn. You are spies." What are spies?
Someone that spies on people.
Yeah, they check them out, don't they? See whether they're doing good or bad. Turn the page. The brothers said, "No, my lord. We 12 brothers are the sons of a man in Canaan, and we've come to buy food. One brother is dead, and one, the youngest, has stayed behind with our father." Joseph said, "One of you must stay here as my hostage." That means my prisoner. "The others may take corn back to your home, but you must bring your young brother back here, or I shall know that you haven't told me the truth." What's the truth, Christy?
Telling the right thing.
That's very good. Turn the page, please. The brothers said to each other, "We behaved badly to our brother Joseph all those years ago. Now we're being punished for what we did." What's punished? What does punished mean?
Bad.
When you're bad, you get punished, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means you have to be spanked or set on a chair or whatever. Okay, I'll read on.
Mm-hmm.
They did not know that Joseph would understand what they were saying because he pretended not to know their language. But he heard them speaking of their cruelty to him when he was a boy. They had thrown him into a pit and then sold him as a slave, and he went away and wept. Turn.
Well, I got it now.
Joseph kept one brother, Simeon, as his prisoner, and he told his servants to fill each brother's sack with corn, and on top of the corn to put the money that the brother had paid for it. The brothers started on their journey back to Canaan, and on the way, one of them opened up his sack so that he could feed his ass, and he saw the money he had paid to Joseph, and he was afraid. The brothers said to each other, "What has God done to us?" Turn.
I turned. Get over there.
When the brothers reached their home, they found that each brother had been given back his money. They told Jacob, their father, what had happened, and that the Egyptian lord had told them that they must bring their youngest brother back with them to Egypt. Jacob said, "You are robbing me of my children. My son Joseph is dead, and Simeon is left in Egypt. Now you want to take Benjamin from me too. You will bring my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave." Reuben said, "I promise to bring Benjamin back safely. If I don't, you may kill my 2 brothers. You may kill my 2 sons." Emma got mixed up. The famine grew worse and worse. Look how bony the cattle are. At last Jacob said to his sons, "You'll have to go back to Egypt to buy more corn." And Judah said, "We can't go back without Benjamin. The Egyptian Lord said he would not see us again if we did not bring our youngest brother with us." Jacob said, "Why did you tell the Lord that you had another brother?" His sons said, "He asked us about our family, if our father was still alive, if we had another brother. We promise we will bring Benjamin back safely." Turn. At last Jacob agreed to let Benjamin go to Egypt. He said, "Take a present to this lord. Take some of the best fruit we have, and take balm and honey and spices and myrrh and nuts and almonds. Take double the money with you." Why double?
'Cause you want to pay money.
Yeah, and it was already in their sacks last time, so they owed now for 2 times. Double would be 2 times, wouldn't it? It must have been a mistake last time that you found your money in your sacks of corn. The brothers took the money, and the fruit, and the spices, and with Benjamin they went down to Egypt. Turn. When Joseph saw them, he said to his servants, "Prepare a meal. These men shall eat with me." The brothers were brought to Joseph's house, but they were afraid. They said to each other, "He's going to punish us for taking the money that we found in our sacks." They told Joseph's servant how they had discovered the money and said, "We have brought back double the money this time." And the servant said, "Don't be afraid. God must have given you the money in your sacks. I have the money you paid me for the corn." Turn.
That was a joke.
Was it? The brothers came into Joseph's house, and when they saw Joseph, they bowed down to him. He asked, "How is your father? Is he still alive?" Then Joseph saw Benjamin, that would be his real brother, and asked, "Is this the younger brother that you told me about?" And to Benjamin he said, "God be gracious to you." But he had to go away quickly to his own room to weep alone. What does weep mean?
Sob.
Cry, sob.
You know what?
Joseph washed his face. Then he composed himself and went out to the feast he had prepared for his brothers. He put food in front of each brother, but he gave Benjamin 5 times as much as to any of the others. Turn.
They're stopping.
After the feast, Joseph told his servants to fill the brothers' sacks with food and to put each man's money into the sack too. "Put my silver cup into Benjamin's sack," he said. When the morning was light, the brothers went on their way. It must have been really early. Then Joseph sent a servant after them to say that they had returned evil for good because they had stolen from Joseph's house. The brothers said, "We have stolen nothing. Look in our sacks. If you find anything in any man's sack, let him die." Turn.
Why? Why did they say that?
Because they wanted to catch Benjamin. The servant searched the brothers' sacks, and he found the silver cup in Benjamin's sack. The brothers were terrified. They tore their clothes to show their misery, and they returned with the servant to the city. And when they came to Joseph's house, they fell down before him, and Judah said, "What can we say to you? We will be your servants to make up for this terrible thing." Joseph said, "I will keep the man who stole my cup." But Judah said, "Our father is an old man. He did not want Benjamin to come down to Egypt. Take me as your servant instead of him. If he does not return, our father will certainly die." Turn. Then Joseph could not keep his secret any longer, and he wept aloud. He said to his brothers, "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt when I was a boy. Go and tell my father that God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Tell my father to bring his household, his servants, and his cattle down here to live with me." The brothers went back to Canaan carrying meat and corn and bread. And when Jacob heard their story, he said, "Joseph, my son, is alive? I will go and see him before I die." Joseph went out to the city to greet his father, and when they met, they embraced. That means they hugged, and they wept for joy. Turn, and that's all. Good story.